Kids, are you? Hold up, hold up!
Guys,
Come on down.
Robbie, I see you.
Just stay up on the left side.
Don't expect to go anywhere. Hey, Mom! You're like, I love you! Just put your
We're gonna get it, don't worry, we're gonna get it.
My name is Joseph.
Go ahead, come on, let's hear it. I'll do an interview with you up there, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow, a lot of kids. Great, this is great.
City of Everett, actually. Bobby, what's he so?
so we know you.
I'm not just gonna let that shit slide. If you racist, shut the fuck up and put him out.
I think instead of someone mentions about the people in Buffalo. Children right now are kneeling down and tribute mourning to the people in Buffalo who were shot a couple of weekends ago. So these kids have real respect, let me tell you. They really did well today.
Oh yeah, right, I guess both the content stories.
You're leaving? Where? Water? Where?
Where water comes from.
Going on Facebook and YouTube. Turn the other one up too. Turn that one up.
Here. Thank you for coming out today and letting your voice be heard. I want to thank the Everett High School students for their demonstration today. Woo! Yay! They want what we all want, a fair and just system. These students are the Everett of tomorrow. I think they are right on track. They are making a difference. Yay! And I want to thank our supporters, the speakers, and our friends who have been supportive throughout our efforts to show the City Council and the Mayor that we are paying attention to what is going on at City Hall and that it is time for a change. Time for a change. I want to just give you some guidelines so we don't I want to mention some guidelines so we can have an orderly and peaceful rally. Let's not block the front door so that people can get in and out, although I think it's after 5, so that should be okay. And don't block. No, they're open till 7, so make sure we let people come through here. If you see someone walking down the street, just make way for them. The front of City Hall looks lovely, doesn't it? With the flowers and the grass. So let's try to keep it that way, okay? Okay.
Nice one.
There's a city council meeting today at 7 o'clock right here in City Hall. So after the rally, if you can, please attend and speak if you choose. It's your opportunity to see and hear how business is conducted by our city council, the people that we pay to represent us. And so it would be a good idea for them to see all of you at the meeting. I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Reverend Marielle Daniel. She's the pastor of the North Shore Evangelical Missionary Church. Reverend Mimi has been serving the Everett community since 2008. Reverend Mimi was recognized at the State House by the City of Boston and Governor Weld and others for her outstanding leadership in the Haitian community, providing services to adults and youth to guide them to make healthy choices for themselves. She will be praying for a blessing for our gathering. Reverend Mimi.
Okay. Can we observe a moment of silence for our brothers, from Buffalo, New York, at least 1 minute? Can we do that? Can we bow our heads to do that? Amen. Yeah. Now it's time. I'm going to ask you to bow your heads and then to have a prayer. Amen. God our Father in heaven, we come before you in this very dark and divisive time that we live in, where everything is polarized. Use me like you use Esther in the Bible to intercede for your people, to plead for justice for the community of Everett, to plead for justice in America. There have been many people who are subjects of injustice, Lord, including me, who have no one to defend them, to defend us. But you said in your word, you are our defender. Speak to those who are unable to speak for themselves. We also knew that you are God of unity and community. We may have our differences in skin color, nationality, and language, but we are all equal in your eyes, deserving equal justice, treatment under the law, and value as human beings. For we know that your heaven will be a place of color. Your heaven, God, will be a place of color in all nationalities. For we are one race, the human race. We pray that anyone who does not hold the same values of equality, you may speak to them and change their hearts. Amen. We pray that God bless each and every single one of you, and a special blessing over the city of Everett in Massachusetts. We pray that God bless each and every one of you here tonight on Broadway and all over the city of Everett. A special blessing over the city of Everett again in Massachusetts. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, girlie.
Can you all hear me?
One second.
Just
I think they can hear me.
Testing. Just press the speaker
hold
into
it
that.
for her so she can
Okay.
read it. Pull the mic off.
Paula.
Pull.
Do you want to hold the mic?
follow.
She can, if she just holds that mic now, she can do that.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you all for being here and thank you for all the support that you guys have been showing us. I don't know if I can top today what happened with the kids. They were just amazing.
Press the mic button.
Tell us again how amazing the kids were. They were amazing. I don't know if I can top today without amazing high school kids showing strength and resilience earlier today. I am beyond proud of them for standing up for what they believe in. We win when we come together as a community. We win when we speak up against injustice. We win when we speak up against racism. I'm glad to see the community coming as a whole are starting to pay attention to what's going on with our tax dollars. It's time for them to listen to us. We pay their salaries. We put them in that building. But then they want to tell us we cannot speak. That's right. That will not happen with this community. No way. Pay attention. All these kids that were here today will be able to vote. All of them. It's time to pay attention to the people that gives you the jobs.
You got it.
It's time. We're tired. We are not going to sin for this. And this is for every minority in the city that applied for a job and was told you're not good enough. You're not good enough. This is for you all. And thank you to everybody that stands up with the city. Far, near, we love you all. This will continue. This will not stop. This will not stop. Today was a small step, but the work must continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
For giving a diversity of voices from our community the opportunity to speak in public against the evils of systemic racism. My name is
Keep it close.
My name is Janet Covita. I am currently served as interim director of La Comunidad Inc., which actually is across the street. We are a community-based organization that was founded 22 years ago here in Everett to serve, educate, and organize Latino immigrants, residents, and others. First of all, let's quick remember that our city has experienced a tremendous demographic change in the last 25 years. At 41% of the total population, we are one of the top 5 largest and youngest immigrant communities in Massachusetts. Many experts predict these numbers are going to continue to grow. Today, on behalf of our members, we add our voice to the growing chorus of voices demanding accountability and change at Everett City Hall. Enough is enough. There is no place for rampant systematic racism in the halls of our city government. Every single resident in our community works hard and deserves better from those empowered that make decisions that impact the way we live our lives every day. Is it rather unfortunate that we are having to come together to face this problem head-on one more time? It is very uncomfortable to have to explain why there are so many incidents of racism being reported by the media. Just Google racism in Everett. This is very much a distraction from so many other equally important issues concerning in our city. High cost of housing, for instance, COVID-19 relief for food assistance, adequate funded and overcrowded in our schools, lack of BIPOC diversity and inclusion across city government, lack of access to good paying jobs, transparency in our city budget and finances, high cost of water bills and residential tax, public transportation issues are among some of the major problems that are not being substantially addressed right now.
If systematic racism continues to be a pervasive problem in our city, none of these other problems will ever change. We will not see Everett grow and evolve into the kind of community that we all here today wish to see. There's so many wonderful examples of how other communities around us are working hard, working together, and are actually making progress. Let's keep this momentum together. Let's not stand on the sidelines anymore. Let's continue to fight for the kind of the city we wish to have. Thank you, and have a good evening.
I studied Lafayette School in 8th grade, and I come to talk about racism. Discrimination is a big problem. People of color don't have the same many options for work because they are not treated equally. They make up a higher percent of prison population and face poor housing conditions. Unfortunately, racism is something we still have today. It's a big problem here in the United States, so we must do better. We can fight racism. I have experienced the racism because I'm an immigrant, so let's improve the lives of the immigrants who suffer from racism. That's all I ask, and we can fight against racism and for the equality. Thank you.
Tennis student here. Good job. Very good. I'm so proud of you. So my name is Kui Su. I'm the first generation Chinese immigrant, graduate from University of Massachusetts, and has been lived in many states, many cities. Recently moved to Everett late of last year. So I chose Everett because this is a very diversified city with working class, and people migrate to this city. I think I can do something for the people here. 40,000 little town. When I live in Michigan, it's about the same size of a town, but people are very, very nice, very, very working so hard. So I think I can do something for the people, and I did some little research. The percentage of Asian in Boston City is about 6%. In Everett, it's 8%, and black people in Boston is 7%. In Everett, it's 18%. So, I mean, back like 30 years ago when I was here, it's big difference. People migrate here. We should have a very good diversified team, diversified people work together to build better towns, cities so close to Boston. So, to my surprise, when I have moved back to Massachusetts, the racism is not getting better. It just changed the form to me. I believe it's just changed the form. It's not getting better, even though we have so many people moved, diversity people moved to see. And also, I have experienced the racism, hatred is growing, which is not acceptable. So we got to do something to stop the hatred. Regardless of people's color and their differences, but inside we all have a heart. We love each other. We love our family. We raise our family. So the hate should not exist. We should respect each other. We should working together at the same goal to build a better community. To serve the same goal is not to hate each other. So we also, right now in the world, there are so many challenges. Environmental, we have a flood, we have food issue, we have so many other issues. It's more important. We should do something instead of hate each other, instead of make other people discriminate against other people. So, I'm sorry, I just prepared today. So as an immigrant, growing here, racism is not welcome in Everett. We should work together to stop bullying, to stop hatred. Can we all work together? Yeah! We can. I think we can. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna read something from the senator because he couldn't be here today.
Which senator?
Senator Sal Di Domenico.
Okay. It says, racism in any form is reprehensible and inexcusable. Today's actions were necessary and a critical step to move our community forward. Everett's diversity is our strength, and we cannot tolerate behavior in action or words, but undermines the inclusiveness and welcoming environment that our community expects and deserves. As I have said before, we have to be held accountable for our actions and call out discrimination when we see it. And I just wanted to say, as a black woman living in Everett, I've experienced racism to an extent, and it's unacceptable. I've been sprayed with a hose. I've been looked at the corner store. I've been followed home, and that's not acceptable. I'm only in high school, y'all. I'm only in high school. And it's just because of my color. It's just because of the color of my skin. And I'm not going to tolerate that. So I want to see change. I want to see something new.
My name is Kian. I go to the high school, and I firstly just want to thank Abby for sharing her vulnerabilities. It's just like so telling of this community, and like everyone that's here is representing Everett. And I just want to say a couple of words: racism, sexism, anything that's bigotry should not be tolerated in this community, because the people here are representing everyone, you know? The people in leadership should be ashamed of themselves. Everyone involved in the incident should be ashamed of themselves and should resign.
An activist and advocate for healthy living, Samantha Lambert.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Okay.
Hi, Samantha.
Okay.
Hi, Samantha.
So important steps were taken today, but it wasn't enough because this isn't about an individual. You want to hold it now? Patience? Yeah. So important steps were taken today, but it wasn't enough because this isn't about an individual. This is about the culture that supported them. I want to revisit a quote that I shared back in March, words given by the great Toni Morrison. Oppressive language does more than represent violence, it is violence. It does more than represent the limits of knowledge, it limits knowledge. As we mourn the violence in Buffalo, we must also understand it is our words and actions, what white people are willing to accept in the name of civility and keeping the peace, that seeds and grows this type of hate. A comparison to drug companies profiting from the distribution of and the death from OxyContin is more apt than some may want to realize. Make no mistake, the casual racism and white supremacy displayed by those in power is violence. When laws and resources are determined by the same people, it results in positive changes for a few at the expense of many. Displacement, food insecurity, poor health, income disparities, these are symptoms of those in power having such little regard for those they represent. They want you to know your place. They want you to thank them for the decisions they made for you, without you. These are symptoms of white supremacy. The solutions are here. The solution is you. Speaking up, taking your power, running for office, voting. Demand more. I know you're tired, and we're all tired, and sometimes it feels like it takes all we can to make it to tomorrow, but we're here tonight. I keep asking, are you embarrassed to be from Everett? Everett's in the news again? I'm not embarrassed to be from Everett because the Everett I'm from, the Everett I know showed up tonight. They're the students that walked down here tonight. This is Everett. Be proud, demand more, and we still have work to do. Let's go.
Yeah. Good job, Samantha.
Okay, this one's not going to be easy for me, but it's a very important person in our city. She is the superintendent of Everett Public Schools. She's the daughter of Indian immigrants. Superintendent Tahiliani was appointed in 2020. Supporting English learners and all students has always been her passion. She spent most of her career advocating on behalf of students in public school systems. Superintendent Tahaliani.
Am I doing? Yes?
Good.
All right. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I think there are some whose defense of Everett is more vehement than their defense of the people of Everett. I think there's some whose professed love for Everett is not matched by their love for the people of Everett. I think there's some whose respect for the elected offices of Everett is greater than their respect for the people of Everett. This is why I am here tonight, to apply whatever weight I possess to help correct these imbalances. And for that, I thank you for inviting me. These students with us tonight and that were here protesting peacefully earlier today, I am proud of you for being leaders, for standing up, for speaking out. We all draw strength from your presence, and I take tremendous pride in serving as your superintendent. To the adults with us here tonight, look at these young people and take heart in knowing that they will one day care for us. And one day, lead us in a society that is far more welcoming and inclusive than the one we have been able to create for them. To the city's current leaders who are here with us tonight, and most especially to those who are not, please ask yourself if you possess the heart and soul that is required to lead. Are you doing everything in your power to make sure these young people and their families are loved, represented, and respected? Are you advocating for this community as loudly as you are advocating for the offices you hold? We stand here today in solidarity because we are doing our jobs not just as citizens of Everett, but as citizens of the human race, who must be willing to call out discriminatory, racist, and bullying language and behavior when we witness it. Rather than simply turning a blind eye or saying, "Wasn't me." For those who continue to remain silent, I must ask, is that the bar you have set for yourself? Do you realize that in saying nothing, you have spoken volumes? That you have demonstrated that this isn't worthy of your time or your attention or your voice. That we the people are not worthy of your time or your attention or your voice. We are standing here today because that just isn't good enough, and we demand more. Unfortunately, many of our city leaders and elected officials have been refusing to be accountable. They have proven that they cannot hold themselves accountable, and they will not hold one another accountable. We, on the other hand, are proof that accountability is coming. Change is on the horizon. And we will no longer be treated with such abhorrence and disdain. In fact, as of today, we have proven that the power of accountability lies with us, the people, as it should. Today we have proof that we can insist on accountability from those who serve us. Today we have proof that our voices, which may have been drowned out in the past, have now been heard. Today we have proof that our demands for justice have broken through the silence of the status quo. But I must remind you that we have only seen one or two small acts of acquiescence. And while that is progress, that does not mark success or victory. In fact, we cannot stop, we cannot slack, and we cannot sleep until the real change that we want to see is before us. Let those who remain silent silent and supportive of the current status quo, see that not only are we on the right side of history, but that we will be resilient in remaining so. That we will continue to demand more from everyone who claims to represent and serve us. And that we will use every resource at our disposal to ensure that we do not wallow in the depths of shame that they have created for us. Instead, we will be driven forward by action and by initiative. And we will not rest until we have brought respect, decency, and honor to the entire city of Everett.
Thank you, Superintendent. Give her another hand. If you read the papers, you know she's been through a lot here in the city, but we're glad you're here, and we support you, right? We support
Yes. 100%.
100%. Okay, thanks. And Lori here, she's a high school graduate, Everett High School graduate, and now she is currently attending Howard University. So here we go.
Help her up.
All right. Good evening. Hello. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anne-Marie Pierre. I am a rising sophomore at Howard University. At the illustrious Howard University in Washington, D.C. I graduated Everett High School last year and had the honor and support of amazing individuals here, such as Mr. McCarthy, Miss Walls, Miss Lambert, Gurley Adrian, and so many others who helped me out throughout my path. And I'm just really honored to be here and just celebrating our youth, seriously, for coming out. And it gives me chills every time I say it. But yeah, so I came to Everett High with a vision for the Black community, and I started a club that is centered around uplifting and empowering young Black excellence. And for a while, I was really proud of what Everett is becoming. They hired more people who look like us, which was an amazing thing. Colored people who catered to us and acknowledged the importance of Black voice, education, rights, and power. And for all the events that have happened in 2020, with the injustices and loss of Black lives, there is no way I should be hearing more about more than 1,000 miles away that my city back home, the place where my peers poured so much into, that the faculty members, school committee members, members that have probably smiled in my face, but behind my back, they've exchanged racial slurs, jokes, and children they are supposed to serve. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it. And none of the students are gonna take it. It was sickening how much power the city can cover of one's actions so they don't have to hold themselves accountable. I thought we've moved past this era. Well, at least I'm glad that these young individuals are using their voice to stop this injustice in the city, where the demographics are majority BIPOC individuals who are just trying to be something bigger than themselves. Individuals who are not born or obtain any form of privilege that these leaders of the city have, my apologies, y'all. That the city have, these leaders that absolutely do nothing with the power that they have. I haven't been here for a while, but there's no reason that school should be a place where people look like me who fear or feel unsafe because of the people in power. To the teachers, the faculty, and community members who are truly for us, I give you all a task. Hold your colleagues accountable for their actions. Because the smallest little jokes can be rooted into the deepest racism and deepest acts that are very dangerous to the demographics of Everett High and the public schools here in Everett. I'm not gonna read this anymore, seriously. But I just really wanted to express that I poured so much into the city And to be going home and hearing all these things that are affecting the Everett High students, texting me, telling me that this is happening to our city, Empowering Young Black Excellence, this club is not empowered anymore. These people are not using their power in the right way. It doesn't sit right to me at all. And for you all that are here today, I give you all a task as well. Continue to support the black individuals in these schools. Be an ally. Support them and hold each and every one accountable. Everett is already small enough. We have each other. So I give you all a task. And to my black brothers and sisters and colleagues, to my black brothers and sisters and non-binary, I want you all to continue to be powerful. Continue to use your voice because you guys are very powerful. And I have chills every time I watch that video. They send me the video of the protest earlier, the rally earlier, and I get chills every time. And I'm so proud of you guys. And I want to continue coming to Everett to hear the progresses that are being made because of you all. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for giving me Everett, for giving me the opportunity to be Everett High School's president, to be able to give that speech. Thank you, Everett, for supporting me on my path at Howard University, and I will continue to serve Howard University. I will continue to serve Everett High here, and I want to see changes made every single time I step foot in Everett. Although I don't live here, but the changes will be made, and I promise you that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laurie. Okay, for another person who has poured a lot into Everett, Ward 5 School Committee member, Marconi Barrows.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. I stand here today as a proud Latino, as the first proud Latino and openly gay school committee member in Everett. I am proud of that. Proud of our city, proud of our teachers, our students, and proud for call Everett my home. You know, I've been Everett for over 20 years. And there are some people that until today say that I'm not from Everett. I am from Everett. I am proud of this Latino who ran for a school committee to represent what our school is, what our students are, and who they are. So, I have a message to those who claim that they are not racist. Take pictures with people who look like me. It does not erase your racism. Talk to people who have an accent like me and smile to them. Does not erase your racism. We will continue to show that the city that we love, the city that we have, the true Everett, is diverse, is proud, is welcoming, and those who are racist either need to change or need to move out. So, I just want to say that I will continue to be loud and clear in the Everett School Committee. I will continue to represent our students, our teachers, and I will continue to speak loudly to those who believe that people like me do not belong here. That's why I stand here proud with my husband right by my side, born and raised in Everett. I am from Everett, and I'm proud to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marconi. Yeah. Okay, we have some more. We have another future resident. She's a current resident, but but I'm saying that she's a future voter. So what she has to say is important to us. Her name is Marielle Seguja, and she is the president. So she might be mayor someday. She's the president of the freshman class at Everett High School.
Hi everyone. So I come here today because I mourn my childhood. I was born here. My parents thought that Everett was a safe haven because they were immigrants. Every day I've been in Everett High School, I've been trying to be strong, but it's really hard to be strong when the people you're supposed to look up to, people who govern your schools and people who govern the town are using racist language behind our backs. I fight for every girl who looks like me, every girl who's currently in City Hall working who looks like me, every girl who has had to be in Everett, who got their hair made fun of, who got called slurs, who got called every word in the book, who were told to give a detail of the black experience in their white class. I am here for them. I mourn everyone's childhood here, who's been plagued by racism, especially in this town. And I'll always fight for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Kason Upantaya. Was I close?
Yes.
He's an author, a grocery store owner, and a leader in the Nepali community.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for letting me come out here, say a few words. I just want to let you know that I own a small convenience store here in Everett, and I moved to Everett about 5 years ago and from North Carolina, and I love it. I love the community. I love the multicultural city that we live in, and I love the fact that we have people from all over the world living in this little town called Everett. I love Everett, and Everett needs to love all of us. That's what I want. Everett city leaders needs to love all of us, and they need to do and listen to our voices.
Yes.
We need peace and prosperity and harmony in our city among our leaders and among the elected officials. Peace and harmony means living together without violence. It is very necessary for growth and development for a nation. Every religion in the world teaches us peace and harmony. But if we don't have harmony and peace among ourselves, we are worthless people, especially among our leaders who do not have the peace and the harmony and the greatly needed unity among themselves to run the city like they're supposed to. Therefore, I ask the city members and councils and the elected leaders to do what is necessary to maintain the peace, harmony, and unity among our Everett citizens. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to introduce Girlie Adrian. You've heard that name before. She's the daughter of Haitian immigrants. Girlie holds a master's degree in business administration. She was the first black woman elected to the Everett City Council. So that goes to show, you see what your vote will do? The voters elected the first black woman of the Everett City Council. So next election, we need to get out there, not just follow somebody else, what somebody else wants you to do. Pay attention to what's going on. I don't mean to, chastise you, but pay attention to what's going on. And let's get some people in this building that we actually want in the building, that we don't have to rally and try to get them out of here. Really, come on.
of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for standing up, continuing to fight, and letting them know that this is wrong. We need to continue to do this as much as we can. When I first heard the news this morning, I screamed. I literally screamed. And I said, there's no way, no way, right? I threw my phone, I said, this cannot happen. You guys did that. Woo! Like, seriously. I thought there was going to be tears in my eyes because I was just so proud of the movement that you guys have created. And to see this, to see all of this, it's not just black, it's not just Latino, it's not just Asian, it's not just white, it's everybody. Yeah. And that's the Everett that I know and that I love, and that's my hometown. And I just want to say I am so proud of you all, especially to the students. Yeah. You guys inspire me. When I saw it, it just broke my heart. And I just want to say thank you guys for your courage, standing up, saying that this is not okay. This is not right. And so I just came here, not going to talk long, but I just want to say thank you to all of you. It still breaks my heart that we don't have a black person on the city council, so we got to change that for next year. Yeah! And I'm hoping that somebody's going to run for that seat and win. And so I just want to say thank you. I'm proud of you guys. Keep on doing this. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm proud of you guys. Thank you.
Right again. Okay, next we have Josh. Josh Resnick is the publisher and editor of the newspaper, The Leader Herald. Where you'll find most of this information. You won't find it hardly in the Advocate or the Independent. Josh.
Can everyone hear? No. Hold on, guys. Hold on. They planned that. In this difficult day, during this difficult time for the city of Everett, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a city this is and what direction do we wish to move in. For those of you who are black and brown, Hispanic and Brazilian, considering the evidence of how you are all treated by the leadership at Everett City Hall, it appears a fact that there are white people who are responsible. Excuse me. This is for perpetuating your second-class citizenship in this city. However, the vast majority of Everett's white people are seeking justice from City Hall the way you are. And in this respect, you are all one, exposed to the racism, the homophobia, the sexual harassment, and retaliation of a City Hall out of control. You can be filled with anger, and some of you with hatred, and a desire for revenge because of how you have been treated by City Hall and Everett's elected public officials. We can move in that direction as a city filled with hatred toward one another, or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and to comprehend and to overcome that hatred and racism. The stain of second-class citizenship and mistreatment that has become one of the hallmarks of Everett City Hall and the elected government must be replaced with understanding, compassion, and with the clear message that all of us are created equal. Elected public officials from the mayor down seek to exclude you from the workings of municipal government. When Girlie Adrian was elected several years back, she was tortured by her colleagues on the council who urged her to resign. She wasn't the right color. She spoke freely. They wanted her to know her place. In Everett parlance, she was a black woman with a big mouth and a great deal of arrogance. Listen carefully to her words. Hold on. This really isn't live. Listen to Girlie's words tonight. For she is attempting to help create a better world for blacks, browns, Hispanics, for whites, for all of us struggling to do the right thing in a vastly changed world. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust against all white people, I say, don't go down that road. Rather, stand up for yourselves. Speak out. Do not be afraid. The Everett Leader Herald stands with you. We have to make an effort in this city. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond the racism, the hate, and to go way beyond that place. In the words of the late John Lewis, my parents told me in the very beginning, as a young child, when I raised the question about segregation and racial discrimination, they told me not to get in the way, not to get in trouble. Don't make any noise. Keep your mouth shut. But John Lewis, one of the giants of the civil rights movement, who stood shoulder to shoulder, marching through the South with the giants and with Martin Luther King, did not listen to his parents. Here's what he said: when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You must be bold, brave, and courageous, and find a way for what is fair. You cannot be afraid to speak up and speak out for what you believe. You have to have courage, and raw courage. What we need in this city is not division and hatred, racism, jealousy, retaliation, and exclusion, whether they be white or whether they be black. What we need is compassion toward one another. We need justice toward those who still suffer from second-class citizenship in this city because of the color of their skin, or the language they speak, or the nation they came from. We can do well in this city, and many have, but we are having difficult times. The vast majority of white people and the vast majority of blacks, browns, Hispanics, and Brazilians in this city want to live together. At the Everett Leader Herald, we do not seek the ruination of the mayor or the paralyzed city council or the school committee and all the silent department heads running the city. We seek justice for those denied a chance because of the color of their skin, the language they speak, or the nation they came from. We are your voice. We confront City Hall, sponsored and supported hate, racism, sexual harassment, homophobia, misogyny, and the ugly reality of government retaliation and municipal corruption. To all of you brave enough to be here tonight, I end with the words of the late Robert Kennedy. Let us dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks many years ago said, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. One of the high school students this afternoon was carrying a sign. And the sign said, I don't know why I still have on these glasses. The sign said, the power of the people is stronger than the words of the people in power. The power of the people, that's us, is stronger than the words of the people in power. Let's remember that. Let's remember that. When you vote, it's your word. When you vote, that's your word. Okay, our next and final student is Marielle Seguja. No, sorry. Marissa Dawson. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Come up here, Missy. Marissa Dawson, and she's a 7th grader at the Pollen.
So, as you all know, my name is Marissa Dawson. As you all know, my name is Marissa Dawson. I go to the Parlin. I came to Everett about when I was 6 or 7, and
can I have everybody's attention, please? Yes, let's give this young lady some respect and listen to what she has to say to us. Thank you.
I moved here with my family when I was 6 or 7, and throughout this whole time I've lived in Everett, I never thought of this being a city where racism would ever come to place. But now thinking about it, how can I feel safe knowing that the people who are in charge here are directly speaking racial slurs behind my back? I thought the city was supposed to be a safe place, and I don't want any young black person, young black people, young black anybody, or anybody from different race, anybody from a different culture, anybody from a different sexuality or anything. I don't want them to feel mistreated or misheard because of the way that they look, the way that they speak, or the way they identify. I've only been here for a few years, and I might have my whole world against me and a whole world that's full of pain, and even though I haven't been what society has told me to do, by the image that society has made us feel, where we feel unperfect and unbeautified because of what society says our beauty standards should be, or the way that we should look. When I was younger, I used to love drawing, but every time I would draw, I always drawed myself, not with my kinky hair, but with straight, what would be known as perfect hair. I would draw myself with the straight hair, and because I thought, yo, this is the perfect hair, and I didn't like my hair. I was so ashamed of it that at some point in my life, I just wanted to have perfect, straight, long, luscious hair. But now I know that I should not feel that I'm not loved for my hair. I should not feel that I'm no different than somebody else just because of how I look, just because of how I speak, and just because of what I think of. In this world, we should learn to accept one another and not hate each other just because of the color of our skin, or race, or sexuality, or anything, or a religion. We should learn to love, and I hope that Everett will change into a better city, that racism will no longer happen. And I ask that for all the young people that have come here, all the young citizens, that we will fight hard, and that this will never happen ever again. For all the young generations, that they never feel this pain that we have just suffered.
Thank you, Marissa. Now, that was a second student, young black girl, who talked about the hatred in the city. And, you know, it just doesn't happen to her. It happens to me, it happens to him, it happens to her, it happens to those girls there. So it's not an isolated incident. And it doesn't stop happening when you grow up and work in the administration. You know, I don't think it'll change in my lifetime, but let's hope in her lifetime that it does change. Okay, on to our next speaker. Now, I used to work for an elected official, and I used to tell my friends when they wanted to meet him or I wanted to introduce him that he is just like us. He just happens to be an elected official. He never put himself above you or me. He's just like us. He just has that name. And so this is how I feel about this guy, Fred Capone. He's just like us. Only he happened to be a former city councilor, and Fred was the personification of a good and decent public servant. Fred always stood with the people, just like I said, with the people of Everett on every vote in his tenure as city councilor. He is the embodiment of inclusion, teamwork, intelligence, common sense, and compassion. All the characteristics you want in a leader. Welcome, Fred Capone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for that very kind introduction, and let's give it up to Janice and Paula for moving this along so well. You guys are wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is the real Everett, right here in front of you. Inclusive, diverse, united. Not the Everett that you've been hearing about in the newspaper, what you've been seeing on TV, following in social media. The negative reflections that we have been forced to watch and live through are the actions of a few. Sadly, they originate from our elected officials. Those whose primary function is to make our city safer and better for all of us. The recent disclosure of the disturbing city video demonstrates that racism has been rampant throughout the current administration. The fact that racism and corruption have not even been mentioned, let alone go unpunished by the majority of our elected officials, underscores the lack of political leadership that has been allowed to continue for far too long. Today, we saw an incredible example of courage and unity and inclusiveness when our students from Everett High School marched right here. They marched in solidarity, and they were amazing. The Everett High School class of 2022 has taken a bold stand, and they have done us proud. I commend them for using their collective voice in a mature, responsible, and thoughtful manner to say what our elected officials will not. Racism in any form is wrong and will not be tolerated. Their actions show me that the future of our city is in good hands, but we must address the current void in leadership. When leadership is lacking, we, the people, must step forth to be the voice of reason and guide the way. Many of the individuals who are here, myself included, have been going to city council meetings for the past 5 months, and we have been demanding that our elected officials address acts of public corruption and the racism that has been displayed by those in positions of public trust. Today, one councilor resigned. As did one member of the administration. That is a good start. And it is because of all of you. But to date, our elected officials have been silent on both accounts, and that is unacceptable. We, the people, refuse to be silenced or ignored. We embrace our obligation to hold our elected officials accountable. And that is why we are gathered here at City Hall, the People's Building.
Yes!
To make our collective voices heard. Look how many of you are here, banding together. Your voice matters. Your opinions matter. Your presence here tonight matters. There is great strength in our unity, in power, in our convictions. And united, we will continue to speak against injustices and demand better from our elected officials. Until the stench of racism, corruption, and complacency are eradicated from this building and throughout our entire community. Only then will we truly be able to heal and move forward as a cohesive, inclusive community where every resident is treated with equal respect, dedicated to the common goal of improving every resident's quality of life. I want to thank everyone who has come here and has made a contribution, not only tonight, but leading up to tonight. As I said, you have already made a difference, and it's just the beginning. This peaceful demonstration and the one earlier by the students serve as examples to others that violence is not necessary to obtain change, that compassion and reason will eventually prevail over hatred and coercion, and that the principles of fairness with justice and equity for all will ultimately vanquish discrimination, prejudice, bigotry, and corruption. Thank you for being here, and thank you for keep pushing it forward.
Okay, I said this before, but our last speaker is the president of his class at Everett High School, Sean. I didn't get your last name. Sheik. Sean Sheik. Oh wait. I love that line that Fred gave. The stench of racism. The stench of racism. It stinks. Sean.
First off, I would just like to thank everyone being here. It means a lot as a student to see everyone come out after what we did this morning. And I'd also like to apologize on behalf of a lot of my peers. A lot of us have conflicts in right now, like softball games and stuff like that. I know a lot of us wanted to be here right now and support this. I just came back from a crew practice. I've yet to shower, but that's how much this means to me. And I'm very happy to be here. And second, I just want to say the thing we did this morning was to set a precedent in the city that racism cannot go unnoticed. It's not one of those things in Everett where we've always grown up hearing, oh, that's how the city officials are, that's how the city works. No, it's up to us to set that precedent and hold people accountable. I'm sick and tired of seeing this being pushed under the rug and go unnoticed by so many people, and it brings joy to me as a senior. Now that I'm leaving, we only have 5 days left, the senior class, and all of us came together, almost 100 of us, and marched down on Broadway to be right here.
I think there was like 200.
Only 5 days left to be affiliated with Everett High School, and that's what we did. People say seniors always check out sometime during May, but we're right here. Just because all my peers can't be with us right now doesn't mean that our message goes unheard. We want to hold this city accountable.
accountable. And even though all of us are going off to our colleges, we're still here. We're still voters. It's up to our senior class to be the next class of voters that gets these people out of office. Because it's up to us to uphold democracy and what we learn in our classroom and what our teachers teach us, because they've been silenced too on what we should do and what we should vote. Because it's up to us as people and as citizens of this city. We're not the silent majority. We're here. We're in Everett. We're in your classroom. We're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. This ends our demonstration right now, today. But there is a city council meeting upstairs on the 3rd floor at 7 o'clock. And, you know, particularly you young people, you should come on up and see how the city council does our business. They're doing our business. Remember that. Thank you so much.